Happy International Women's Day. Well, one of the challenges women face today is adequate female representation in trade unionism. And as the world marks the 2025 International Women's Day, stakeholders are calling for the promotion of women to leadership positions in trade unions. Senior correspondent Sharon Ijason has more.
In March 2023, the World Bank released a report that pegged the female labor force at 48%. In trade unionism at the national level, labor centers usually have a general secretary and national president at the helm of affairs. At the state level, labor centers have chairpersons as heads. The Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, does not have any female chairperson across the country, but has a few state secretaries. Currently, only the Labour State chapter of the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) has a woman as a chairperson, while 36 others are male.
Let us allow more women, participation of women. They should not relegate the women to only the women committee. They should allow the women into the mainstream and the center of labor. Women can actually contribute if they are given the chance and the opportunity. Women are well endowed. They are knowledgeable. They are also what? They also fight to ensure that justice is served for the workers.
Affiliate trade unions in Nigeria also lack adequate women representation. I met with Nike Joseph, the Deputy President of the Association of Senior Staff of Banks, Insurance and Financial Institutions as BFI. She shared a perspective on the issue of women representation in labor activism.
To encourage women to take up leadership positions in various unions that we have across the world. It is our time, it is our moment. If we are not there, most of these things, men don't feel it. We are the ones that feel the pain. We are the ones that know what we go through, especially in our workplaces. And we are the ones that can decide for ourselves.
The International Labour Organization (ILO) conducted research and provided information on gender equality and trade union action. The organization stressed the need for promotion of women to leadership positions in trade unions, non-discrimination, and equal pay for equal work of equal value, work-life balance, as well as end to violence and harassment against women in the world of work. The General Secretary of the NLC, Emmanuel Ugboja, spoke on the administrative structure of labor centers.
The trade union movement has also consciously tried to cultivate and bring forth the role of women, the inevitability and the desirability of women in leadership roles in trade unions.
Women's rights are known as human rights as the world collaborates to celebrate women in the month of March. Relative stakeholders are concerned about the positioning of women in trade unionism. They encourage that women should take strategic position in trade unionism. Sharon Ijason, TVC News.
And founder Hills and Tech, Bisola Alabi, joins me now on the news to speak on the theme of this year's International Women's Day. But first, let's celebrate women in the tech industry. And Bisola, it's good to have you join us on the news at this time. What's the significance of this year's IWD to women in tech, particularly?
Thank you for having me at TVC today. So I'm excited about what is going on. I think that we are still a step, further in achieving the gender gap in the tech industry. So I must confess that a lot has gone on in advocating for women in technology, and we are seeing that women are becoming to adopt technology, right? But there's still a gap, and I believe that we are going to talk about that later. But to achieve the gender equality and inclusion, we still need to talk about it, apply more pressure, and advocating for women and telling them that we are not at the end road yet. We've not achieved that goal that we need to achieve. So the significance of this event is to celebrate the women that have adopted technology and encourage more women to say that, oh, there's still space, there's still gap, and you need to come in.
Right. There's the perception, correct, it if it is a wrong notion that there is underrepresentation of women in the tech field.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. So when you walk into an organization, a typical example is when you go into the tech department, it's always filled with men. And you can imagine that women should not become consumers of all of these technologies. We should also be a decision maker. We should also be parts, of developing all of these products, because we make up half of the population, right? But just like engineering, women have this technophobia and they feel that technology is not for them. So if you look at a room of 10, for instance, you would find maybe one or two women, not just in technology, but even high-level technology skills like AI. AI is out there right now. I'm not sure that I can confidently count women who have the skills, right, to build technology across this, to build products across this technology. So that gap is still there. And like I always say, everything compounds. So you need to understand the foundation and keep building on it. The beautiful thing about technology is that there's no end to it. So we need women, the gap is still there. We need women, not just as consumers of these products, but as innovators, and not just workers in these organizations, but as innovators. So just like we have fintech products, just like we have fintech products, for instance, education products, we want women to be innovating around family, right? We want women to be innovating around our women's health. So the gap is still there. I can't count how many female innovators we have in Africa. There are very few. So the gap is still there. And we need to talk about it. So I'm happy that we have the platform to speak about it today and to encourage more women to get into technology.
You are one of the women, that we can put a name and a face to in the tech space. Tell us how more women can, surmount barriers. What are these barriers, in the first place, and how do you surmount them?
So there are several barriers. Number one is technology, the bias. Women feel that technology is for them. So for us at News and Tech, you would imagine that when women come to us, they don't just say, I want to take this course. The question is, can I do this? So we need to dismantle that mental barrier and know that this is not just you. This is a common, problem for women, right? And once you know that this is a problem, then you face it square on. So that's number one. The other barrier that I see is that women do not have the time to upskill. The technology industry requires that you have time, you need to dedicate time to education, right? To continuous upskilling. We are burdened with social, cultural issues, taking care of the home, taking care of the home front, being the caretaker of our families and everyone around us. We need to understand that we can't do these things at the same time while being innovators. We need to shed all of these responsibilities, delegate it, assign it, so that way we can take our space in the technology industry. So those are one of two barriers. Another barrier is we are not financially free. Quality education is not cheap. So we need supporters, we need funders, we need partners to encourage more scholarship, to provide more scholarship, more laptops, internet, cheaper internet, right? So that these women can access all of these courses, right? We also need much more representation. We need women across that are doing well to speak up, right? We need them to speak up to encourage the upcoming ones so that they can serve as role models to these women. So those are a few of the barriers that I think that is limiting women in the tech industry. And once we address this issue in the next 5 years, I believe that it's not going to be a problem anymore.
But how is Hills and Tech working to leverage, all of this that you have said, putting them into action, accelerating action within the theme of this year's IWD?
Oh, thank you. So for the past 4 years, we've recognized that there's training, right? Where you just pass on information. That's that, and you just have the information at the back of your head. And then there's the practical industry-focused training that is relevant in today's workforce. So at Hills and Tech, we don't just pass information. We ensure that every of our students is skilled with the required in-demand skills. So for example, we are talking about AI in our community. We are talking about how organizations are leveraging AI, how organizations are building AI agents to reduce operational costs, right? So these are ways that we are ensuring that the women in our community are competitive enough in the workspace, right? And then also building innovation. So last year, we launched our Femtech Lab, where we want women to build AI products, leverage AI products to solve menopause, to solve issues around infertility, to solve issues around reproductive health, to solve issues around family. So the family is the bedrock of the society. We need these women to build innovative products around, issues like this. The men will not do this for us. So these are actions that, we've implemented in our community and, at large to ensure that we are the forefront and then closing this gap for women.
Founder Hills and Tech, Bisola Alabi, we thank you very much for your contributions.
Thank you for having me.
And in the meantime, advocates